Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be talking about EVFM. I had a lot of requests on this one on Twitter, so I'm going to go through it with it. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, subscribe, and leave your notifications on. At any point in the video, if you feel that you're missing out on the technical analysis, you'll find a playlist in the description that explains each of these technical indicators and what they mean. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, subscribe, and leave your notifications on. Let's jump right into it. We get to see here on the MACD really positive sign. We get to see a positive reversal after it has tested a negative reversal. So it shows that there's actually a good suggestion that this stock is probably going to be seeing a lot more green. On the million percent R though, it seems that it's actually overbought, and that is bearish. On the ADX though, it does suggest that there is a very strong possibility that a trend is forming here. On the momentum, we get to see that the stock is building momentum, and that is very much positive to us. The volume seems to be increasing. That is amazing news. On the moving averages, we get to see the 10 SMA is above 30 EMA, and that is bullish. The stock price is above the 50 SMA in purple, that is bullish, but below the 200 SMA, that is bearish in the short term, but we're not discussing on that just because it has been below that 200 SMA line for quite a bit. Now, moving on towards the 1 hour perspective, and I'm going to zoom in here just to help you out see it better. We get to see a golden star that triggered on the 1st of September, and that's when the 50 SMA crosses the 200 SMA, so that is a bullish sign. On the ADX, it's sitting at 32.94, so just a very strong indication that a strong trend is here, and that's the green trend. So that is very positive to us. William percent R though, it's overbought, so that is a little bit off. A bad indicator, or more of a bearish indicator for perhaps predicting a small dip, but we're not very much concerned about this one at this point. MACD suggests a very strong movement. Momentum is beautiful and strong, and we get to see that the stock on the 1 hour perspective is fully bullish when it comes to the moving averages. So you get to see it's above the VWAP, 10 SMA is above 30 EMA, it's above the trading action zone, so if it falls down all the way to 336, it has a very strong chance of a reversal back up. Above the 50 SMA, above the 200 SMA. Amazing. Now on the moving averages, moving average band, we get to see that there is a moving average band, and usually you would trade between 343 on the top, 314 in the middle, and 281 in the bottom. Moving on, Fibonacci Retracements. So this is one of my favorites here, and I'm going to go through the most important points on the Fibonacci Retracements. So the first one we get to see is currently sitting at 345, and that is a significant resistance on the Fibonacci retracements. Beyond that, 388. Now going on through significant supports and resistances, I'm going to go through supports first. 333 is a significant support. I think as well it did pass the 350 in the extended market, so I'm going to go say 345 as well. And then below that, 313, and then below that, 294, below that, 288. Going on towards resistances, significant ones are 354, and then jumps up to 384, 398, and then almost 439, 464, and then after the 464, it has a lot of room to grow. So 493, and then going up to 523. Moving on, we get to look into companies' news and presentations. So first thing, I'm going to go through presentation. So two things. Commercial launch planned for September 2020 for the Phexxi, and I do have a date from their Twitter investor relations. So it has a potential for a $1 billion opportunity. A US IP patent protection that extends to at least 2033. Potential 5-year regulatory exclusivity extension from QIDP designation for gonorrhoeae. Amazing. The EVO 100 phase 3 trials for prevention for chlamydia and gonorrhoeae to be initiated by the end of 2020. Amazing PRs incoming. Phexxi here is the first major contraceptive innovation in decades. I'm going to go a bit more towards what that product is, and I do have a document as well. I'm just going to go quickly through it. Another one is Ampower, which is in phase 3, and it has an 86.3 typical use efficacy, and use as directed is 93.3. Safety, it looks pretty good as well. I'm not going to go through the exact details because YouTube is a little bit picky on what words I can say and what I cannot say, but you can see reading here what it actually does. And I'm going to move on as well to the Phexxi product. So the Phexxi product, what is it? It's a prescription, as shown here, used to prevent pregnancies in females who used to use an on-demand method of birth control. Phexxi is only effective when used immediately before or an hour before each act. It is not effective when used after. So basically, it is a birth control that is game-changing in the industry because it's the first one to be in that form in decades, and first innovation in decades. So from the IR coming in on Twitter, we get to see that the Phexxi US launch is on Tuesday, on the 8th, coming in on the 8th. So that's amazing. And we do have as well other conferences. I did actually pull it up from somewhere else. Right here, they have 4 new conferences coming up. One on September 4th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. One on September 16th, one on September 18th, and one on September 22nd. Amazing. There's a lot of PRs. This one is packed up. That's what I love to see. This is another one about something about 60 new employees getting qualified for non-qualified stock option awards. Nothing significant here. I also did check the profile for Amy Raskoff, and it does show here that the head of investor relations on her LinkedIn. It has above 500 connections, so I think it is actually, that's her profile as well. Moving on, investor relations. We get to see a bit of an interest end of last week, adding in more shares. Easily could be something more around 2 million shares or 2.5 million shares added in the last week. Going on, I'm going to zoom in here quickly. We get to see in terms of cash, they have a lot more cash than they did previously in from June 30 to December 31st. Amazing. Now, when it comes into revenue, you got to remember that they still haven't launched this product. They have a net loss of 52.7 million compared to 35 million. So 91 cents compared to 97 cents diluted for loss, which is a good kind of road to pave, especially that the Phexxi product is not out yet. So there is some highlights here. I'm going to go quickly through the highlights. So the FDA approval for the Phexxi, strong balance sheet, 136 million in gross proceeds from 2 financial transactions during incredibly challenging time in financial markets. Both mid-ISPAN and First Data Bank, the first 2 major drug information compendiums where the major of the payers obtain pricing and product information. I'm not going to go through exact details of this, but basically everything I've mentioned here as well. Moving forward, in terms of insider buyings, the last ones were around $3, going on around 5,000 shares. Some other news that came out. So for instance, Forbes did estimate that this product is reported to cost $250 to $275 for a box of 12. That's basically without insurance, and they're also trying to get under the Affordable Care Act. Now, that is good prices for revenue purposes. Now, this is the website of Phexxi that I was able to find, and it says it was approved recently here and will be available for prescription in September. So that does as well support this tweet. Moving on. How do I think it's going to actually be playing, and what do I think of the stock? So definitely you get to see, and I'm going to go on through the 1 month, 1 day. You definitely get to see here that it is going on. It's on the verge of a breakthrough, even further than what we were actually seeing before, and it has a lot of potential. For me, I definitely would buy some. Even at this level, as long as it stays above the 335 mark, it looks like it has a high up way to go. With a lot of different presentations, a lot of different conferences coming up, it looks really bullish. And with the product release coming in not far from now, that is amazing. I believe it was on the 8th, on Tuesday, and yes, it is. So how would I play this stock? You have one of 2 options, or actually one of 3 options, right? This looks like a really good long-term one. It has a lot of potential. So you can buy it and forget about it. That is definitely one of the stocks that I think would do that, depending on how the market would act. So the second is trading in at each kind of conference and product launch. So the product launch is next Tuesday, and then you got conferences going on all the way the week after. You can either hold until through the conferences, and basically you're going to see spikes interest in there for new investors coming in from these conferences. And you can day trade that one, or kind of trade it for buy it now and then kind of sell it during the conferences. or just before the product launch, or at the product launch. So that is all possibilities. It really depends on your style. For me, it's a buy, and then you hold it on for a week or two, and then you can see really good returns, just because I don't like to invest long-term in medium or small cap companies. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and you have a wonderful day.